Welcome to the story beneath the story, where we look beyond what happened and discover what God was revealing all along. And today we begin with a simple observation that becomes a life-changing truth. The same event can produce completely different conclusions depending on who is interpreting it. Let's step into Matthew chapter 9, not as readers, but as witnesses. Now imagine the streets. Dust rising beneath people's feet, merchants calling from the storefronts, children running through the crowd, rumors spreading from person to person. Jesus is here. The healer, the teacher, the prophet, the son of David. The crowd is growing. Everybody wants something. Everybody wants answers. Everybody wants hope. Then suddenly 2 blind men begin shouting, not whispering, not politely asking, but shouting, "Have mercy on us, son of David." Now think about that. They cannot see. They cannot see the crowd. They cannot see Jesus. They cannot see the miracles. Yet somehow they recognize who he is before many people with perfect eyesight. The men follow him into a house. Jesus turns and asks them a question. Do you believe that I am able to do this? Not do you understand how I'll do it? Not can you explain the miracle? Not have you earned it? Simply do you believe? They answer, yes, Lord. Then Jesus touches their eyes and says, according to your faith, be it done to you. Suddenly darkness gives way to light. And for the first time, they see faces, colors, movement, the sky, the world. Can you imagine that moment? The first sunrise, the first smile, the first glimpse of their own hands. Years of darkness broken in an instant. Then Jesus says something surprising. See that no one knows about it. But they immediately leave and tell everyone. It's almost humorous. The men who couldn't see anyone yesterday suddenly can't stop finding people to tell today. Then another scene unfolds. A man is brought to Jesus. Matthew says he's mute. He is oppressed by a demon. And modern readers sometimes rush past that verse, but the people standing there didn't. You see, they knew this man. They knew his condition. They had watched his suffering. Jesus casts out the demon. The man speaks, and the crowd is stunned. Matthew tells us that they are marveled, and they said, never has anything like this been seen in Israel. Think about that statement. They are saying that we have never witnessed anything like this. History is unfolding in front of their eyes. Something unprecedented is happening. But then the Pharisees speak. And this is where the story beneath the story begins. The Pharisees say he cast out demons by the prince of demons. Notice something important. They do not deny the miracle. They do not claim that the man is still mute. They do not argue that nothing happened, because they saw the same evidence as everyone else, and yet they reached a completely different conclusion. Why? Because facts are only part of the story. Interpretation is the other part. Because the blind men saw mercy, the crowd saw power, but the Pharisees saw a threat. Same miracle, different conclusion. Because we do this every day. 2 people experience the same setback. One sees it as punishment, the other sees it as preparation. 2 people face the same storm, but one sees it as abandonment, and the other sees it as an opportunity to trust God. 2 people walking through the same hardship. One becomes bitter, the other becomes stronger. Same event, different conclusion. The difference is often found in the narrator, who's explaining reality to you, who's interpreting your circumstances, who's telling you what everything means. Because everyday voices will compete for that position. Fear wants to narrate your future. Culture wants to narrate your identity. Social media wants to narrate your value. And if we're not careful, we'll start believing whatever voice speaks the loudest. The Pharisees had already decided who Jesus could not be. So when the evidence challenged their beliefs, they didn't change their beliefs, they changed their explanation. The story beneath the story is the greatest battle is often not over what happened. The greatest battle is often over what it means. The voice you trust will determine the story you live. Jesus is still inviting us to see beyond the surface and to hear the voice of the shepherd, because when the shepherd speaks, confusion begins to fade, fear begins to lose its grip. Never has anything like this been seen in Israel. The same evidence, the same healing, the same freedom. That's highlighting the way.